In 15 years in Hollywood, no one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show, there being a line for him ever getting a standing ovation at any comedy club. He already had his deals when he...
You know when Katt Williams said gatekeepers?
They tell you that there's no gatekeepers, but we keep seeing the same people open the gate. Didn't Kevin open the gate and let Tiffany in? Ain't he now opening it up for...
Kevin Hart, I do his podcast. We speak about the Tyler Perry situation. Oprah Winfrey, he said, I don't really know Oprah, but I'm gonna reach out to Tyler. I appreciate that. Kevin kept his word. He reached out to Tyler Perry. Kevin Hart called me back. He said, Mo, I talked to Tyler. He said he don't want to revisit.
Kevin told you he wasn't gonna wear no dress until they offered him the dress, and then he put it on. And what did he say after he wore it? I made my own decision. Duh. But you didn't make it before they brought it up, did you? It's okay. It's all right.
I was actually one of those comedians that said, no, I wouldn't wear a dress. There's no way I would wear a dress. And then when proposed with the opportunity of what I felt was funny, I said, oh, that's funny, I'm gonna do it. Oh, Kwanzaa is relevant. Yeah, that's funny. She's small. I can do the whole thing.
Not Katt Williams dragging Kevin Hart's 4-foot self for allegedly selling Shannon out just to get him canceled. So here's the tea. This whole drama with Shannon, yeah, it's looking less like a scandal and more like a full-on setup. And like Katt called it, a shakedown. And who stepped in to stir the pot again? None other than the king of clapbacks himself, Katt Williams. And he's not holding back.
We just got a call from Kevin Hart's manager, Dave Becky. Dave Becky said Kevin doesn't want anything to do with Monique. I called Kevin Hart immediately. I said, hey, baby, we just got off the phone with Endemol, and they said Dave Becky called them up and said, you don't want anything to do with me. He said, Mo, that's a miscommunication, and we're going to talk Tuesday. Don't worry about it. That was 2 years. Right?
For a 5-year period, every single movie that Kevin Hart did was a movie that had been on my desk. That all I had said was, just, can we take some of this step and fetch it shit out? And then I can do it. Like, it don't need to be overtly homosexual, because I'm not homosexual, right? It doesn't need that to be funny, right? And me saying that and them going, oh yeah, no problem. And then going to give it to this other guy.
60-year-old man shouldn't even find a woman under the age of 30 attractive. A man pushing 60, all of that wisdom, all of that knowledge. The only way you want something young and dumb is if you want something young and dumb.
Katt's basically saying Kevin Hart was behind the whole thing, like puppet master level, and he didn't just throw shade, he came with receipts. We all know Katt and Kevin don't exactly vibe. That beef has been simmering for years. But now, Katt's claiming Kevin is still salty over their viral 2024 interview on Club Shay Shay. And he's so pressed that he allegedly teamed up with some Hollywood big shots to take Shannon down. And get this, the woman suing Shannon, Gabriella Zuniga, according to Katt, she's got industry ties and was planted to lure Shannon's freaky tail right into a trap. Let's not forget, Shannon practically broadcasted his weaknesses for younger women in past interviews, and now the industry knows exactly how to play him.
That you've become, more equipment or artillery is being shot at you.
Yeah.
Amanda Seals, you being insensitive after wherever, wooever. They even say Club Shay Shay done turned into a message show. He cooning. He ain't for the people. You see what I'm saying?
I do. And
But here's the thing. This isn't even the first time Katt's called Kevin a sellout. He already dragged him for wearing a lace front and a dress on Saturday Night Live just days after saying he'd never wear a dress for a role. That moment, yeah, it rubbed a lot of folks the wrong way, especially since at the time, it seemed like every black male celebrity was being pushed into a dress on TV. So when Kevin flipped the script, people were like, oh wow, he really sold out. And Katt, oh, he definitely agreed. Now, the reason Kevin even got asked about the whole dress issue in the first place, it all started with Dave Chappelle. He had just done this wild interview with Oprah where he spilled some serious behind-the-scenes tea. Dave said producers wanted him to wear a dress for a movie with Martin Lawrence, and when he said no, boom! Suddenly, there was a whole new script ready, like they'd expected him to refuse.
I mean, I'm a conspiracy theorist to a degree. Like, when I connect dots that maybe shouldn't be connected, I don't know. But certain dots, like when I see that they put every black man in the movies in a dress at some point in their career, I'll be connecting them down like, wow, all these brothers gotta wear a dress. This happened.
Dave Chappelle once said that he started connecting dots every time a black man in Hollywood got put in a dress, and it was starting to look like a pattern. He shared how he once walked into his trailer, saw a dress, and immediately said, "Nope, wrong trailer."
To me, I'm doing a movie with Martin.
Yeah.
The movie's going good. So I walk in the trailer. I'm like, man, this must be the wrong trailer because there's a dress in here.
When the writers tried to convince him it was funny and even told him all the greats had done it, he clapped back with, "Then maybe it's time to stop, because that just makes it hacky." They pressured him hard, but Dave held the line. "I don't need a dress to be funny, just give me better lines." 10 minutes later, they came back with a whole new scene, which made the whole situation feel even more suspicious. So yeah, that moment really set off the conversation.
So the writer comes in. I think he's the writer. He's like, Dave, listen, we got this hilarious scene where Martin's sneaking out of jail. So he disguises you as a prostitute. And he put this dress on, and what? A prostitute? No, I'm not doing that. I don't feel comfortable with that. That should have been in the discussion. What? You don't feel comfortable with it? I mean, it's a hilarious bit. All the greats have done it. So, well, if all the greats have done it, it's kind of hacky, right? You're a writer. So why don't we just not do it? Because I don't feel comfortable wearing a dress. Oh, come on, Dave. Listen, we got it all set up. We're supposed to shoot. Every minute you waste costs this much money. You know, the pressure comes in. He said, I'm not wearing no dress, man. I'm funnier than a dress. Just give me something funny to say. I don't need to wear no dress to be funny. What am I, Milton Berle? You know, we're going like this. And then finally he's like, and he leaves, and then like.
And when Kevin folded and rocked that dress anyway, folks couldn't help but side-eye him, especially Katt.
Kevin told you he wasn't gonna wear no dress until they offered him the dress, and then he put it on. And what did he say after he wore it? I made my own decision. Duh. But you didn't make it before they brought it up, did you? It's okay. It's all right. For a 5-year period, every single movie that Kevin Hart did was a movie that had been on my desk. That all I had said was, just, can we take some of this step and fetch it shit out? And then I can do it. Like, it don't need to be overtly homo. Because I'm not homo. It doesn't need that to be funny, right? And me saying that and them going, oh yeah, no problem. And then going to give it to this other guy and having him do it just like it was. And acting like I'm a bad person because I keep standing on my standard. But, yeah, it's interesting, but I wouldn't change it for the world. Like.
After Dave Chappelle's interview blew up, everyone was talking. And of course, people started asking celebrities what they thought about it. One of the first names that came up, Kevin Hart. When asked, Kevin tried to play it cool, said he never ran into anything like that. No scripts pressuring him to wear a dress. He explained that everyone needs boundaries in this industry. And for him, he knew what his were. But he also admitted those boundaries hadn't really been tested yet. He brought up a random example, saying that he had turned down dribbling a basketball on a talk show that morning because, in his words, I'd look stupid. Then he dropped this whole speech about branding, like how you need to protect your image, and that one wrong move can mess it all up. So for him, keeping his brand intact was a top priority.
Many people have been saying that Kevin Hart was getting very uncomfortable in this interview because this interviewer brought up the topic of Dave Chappelle rejecting to wear a dress, and so he asked Kevin Hart if he's been asked to wear a dress, and he said this.
The industry, they tried to make him wear a dress. Have you ever ran into that with scripts, and is that something that, you know, you wouldn't do, you know, for
definitely haven't ran into to put on the dress. I mean, you know, you have to have boundaries. You have to have limits that you refuse to cross. You know, protecting my brand is definitely a.
But not long after that interview, Kevin turned around and popped up in an SNL skit wearing a full-on dress and wig. And the skit was weird too. Something like the next pope was a 9-year-old Oscar nominee named Convention Wallace. Yep, that happened. Kevin wasn't some struggling actor back then. But he also wasn't at the top just yet. So when that opportunity came up, he took it. He knew putting on that dress could be the breakthrough moment his career needed. And when folks started calling him out, Kevin clapped back on Twitter saying no one made him do it. He tweeted something like, I wore the dress because I thought it was funny. I made the choice. I'm my own boss.
Do you feel like it's unfair that black comedians might have to answer for stuff that like Robin Harris doesn't have to answer for? Or?
No, you know what? I was actually one of those comedians that said, no, I wouldn't wear a dress. There's no way I would wear a dress. And then when proposed with the opportunity of what I felt was funny, I said, oh, that's funny, I'm gonna do it. Oh, Kwanzaa is relevant. Yeah, that's funny. She's small. I can do the whole thing. It'll be funny. I think now, knowing about the opportunities that can be thrown at you, it's all about choice. You know, nobody makes you do anything.
Right.
Nobody says this is what you got to do. This is the only way that you're going to do it. Nobody made Martin put on a dress in Big Mama's house. Nobody made Tyler Perry put on the dress as Medea. Nobody made Jamie Foxx put on the dress as Wanda, and nobody made Martin do it as Shanae. You know, it was a choice.
Right.
And on Saturday Night Live, you know, it was a choice that I made.
Of course, when Katt Williams was asked about it later, he didn't hold back. He straight up said Kevin was a sellout. But then Katt doubled down, saying he didn't even blame Kevin, because in his eyes, Kevin was just another name on the long list of black men pushed into dresses to climb that Hollywood ladder. According to Katt, Kevin was just doing what he felt he had to do to make it big. And unlike others, Kevin had it easy, because by the time he did it, the path had already been laid out for him. Plenty of others had done it before, so there wasn't much backlash waiting for him anyway. So Katt had a point, right? He brought up Big Mama's house, 1, 2, and 3. Then said, I've never seen Medea in a pantsuit. I think she wears dresses. And just like that, he made it clear. Kevin wasn't being singled out. It was just his turn next. But Katt's issue wasn't just about Kevin putting on a dress. According to him, the industry had been trying to push him out for a while, and Kevin was their perfect replacement. See, unlike Katt, Kevin was down to do whatever they asked, even if it meant compromising his values. That's what made him the easier choice. So as Kevin's stars rose, Katt's fell. And the industry didn't just ignore Katt, they came for him hard. Suddenly, rumors were flying that he was a full-blown crackhead, but Katt wasn't having it.
They've already announced it. It's already going. You didn't know?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, Kevin Hart purchased it, so he's now doing Comic View. That happened at the same time that they gave DC Young Fly Hollywood Squares.
Where?
Yeah, because they tell you that there's no gatekeepers, but we keep seeing the same people open the gate. Didn't Kevin open the gate and let Tiffany in? Ain't he now opening it up for... Don't such and such open the gate for... What do you mean ain't no gatekeepers? There's 100 gates out here. Everyone I've seen got a keeper.
He clapped back and said that they were just spreading lies. He explained that the reason he never did Big Tigger's show was because he had a metal plate in his face from surgery after they removed a tumor from his jaw. Ever since serving in the Marines, he could only breathe out of one nostril. And just to shut down the substance rumors completely, Katt said he'd been getting blood tests every 3 months for 15 years, all clean. He told people to go check his record. No DUIs, no narcotics charges, nothing. Not even weed. And then he said something that stuck. Real ones can tell the truth about anything, period. They blackballed him so bad that he couldn't get work anymore, so he stepped away from the spotlight. But that silence didn't last forever. In 2018, Katt made his big comeback, and he wasn't playing nice. He went straight for Kevin, calling him a fraud.
Liars not get to make complete narratives for themselves.
Are you not afraid about being blackballed again? These are some power people.
What do you mean again? These people are not powerful. Satan can't create anything.
Katt said he knew 46 female black comedians personally, women he'd put on tour, who could barely afford a chicken sandwich even after headlining 7 shows a week. Meanwhile, others were blowing up for being ghetto or because they joked about wanting to sleep with white men. Insert side-eye here. Even though Katt didn't say Kevin's name in that interview, Kevin felt very attacked. And you know what they say, a hit dog will holler, and boy, Kevin hollered loud. He pulled up on the Breakfast Club with smoke in his voice. He called Katt a failure and said Katt had nobody to blame but himself. Kevin said, you keep pointing fingers at Hollywood, the white man, everybody else. But when are you going to take accountability? Kevin didn't hold back. He reminded folks that Katt had his shot. He was that dude once. But according to Kevin, Katt blew it by skipping out on work and flaking on a promo. That's why the studios backed off. They saw him as a risk.
We just got a call from Kevin Hart's manager, Dave Becky. Dave Becky said Kevin doesn't want anything to do with Monique. I called Kevin Hart immediately. I said, hey, baby, we just got off the phone with Endemol, and they said Dave Becky called them up and said, you don't want anything to do with me. He said, Mo, that's a miscommunication, and we're going to talk Tuesday. Don't worry about it. That was 2 years ago. If you talk to him, I talk to him.
Kevin also took a moment to defend Tiffany Haddish after Katt shaded her, pointing out that women like Melanie Camachero, Luanell, and Leslie Jones came up under Katt, but asked, did he ever actually help them shine? Kevin made it clear he used his platform to uplift others. Then came the flex. He said whether people liked him or not, his name would be felt in comedy forever because he was a boss, creating his own lane. And unlike Katt, he said real legends like Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle weren't out here complaining about the next generation, they just stayed focused. But Katt had one last jab. He said people like Kevin lash out because they're not really happy with themselves, and instead of facing that, they take it out on others. His words, don't trash my sister just because you hate your own life. This is earned, not given. Let's be real, Katt wasn't holding anything back. When Kevin started throwing accusations around, Katt pulled up to Club Shay Shay and dragged him like a bad wig. He came straight for Kevin's resume, and even threw Tiffany Haddish into the mix. According to Katt, the only place Tiffany was ever really seen was the Laugh Factory. And Kevin, he claimed that in 15 years, nobody had ever seen a sold-out Kevin Hart show. No long lines, no standing ovations at any comedy club. Basically, he said Kevin wasn't really that guy, and never was. Then Katt started breaking down the timeline. He pointed out how Kevin landed big deals way too fast. He even said, have you ever heard of a comedian coming to LA and in their first year, landing their own sitcom and starring in a movie like Soul Plane? Didn't think so. Then he hit the audience with a question that made jaws drop. What do you think a plant is? Maybe people just don't understand the definition.
In 15 years in Hollywood, no one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show, there being a line for him ever getting a standing ovation at any comedy club. He already had his deals when he got here. Have we heard of a comedian that came to L.A. and in his first year in L.A. he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading? No, we've never heard of that before that person or since that person. What do you think a plant is? Maybe people don't understand the definitions of these words. He just did his documentary with Chris Rock where he shows you that his whole upbringing in comedy was on the East Coast.
Yeah, it was.
So how simultaneously was he here in Los Angeles doing the same thing? It didn't happen. It didn't happen. And
Katt also called out Kevin's recent documentary with Chris Rock, saying the timeline didn't add up. If Kevin was building his comedy career on the East Coast, how was he also popping off in LA at the same time? Katt said it plain. It just didn't happen like that. Then he laughed and said he hated to be petty, but someone had to call out the lies. Basically, he was saying Kevin's rise was too perfect, too polished, too well-timed, and the only way something like that happens is with help, serious help.
Just did his documentary with Chris Rock where he shows you that his whole upbringing in comedy was on the East Coast.
Yeah, it was.
So how simultaneously was he here in Los Angeles doing the same thing? It didn't happen. It didn't happen. And I hate to seem like a petty individual for picking apart lies, but Jussie Smollett gonna keep lying until you say we don't believe you. Like, it's important in the checks and balances of the universe that liars not get to make complete narratives for themselves.
Are you not afraid about being...
He made it clear he believed Kevin had some powerful industry folks backing him, but he didn't call them powerful in a good way. Katt said people like that can't even give real blessings. And that's why folks who sell their soul always act like they didn't. According to him, they all follow the same script.
Why do you think Gary Owen can't cross over and he already white and been in comedy for 25 years? If what I say ain't the case. It's a cabal. It's a consortium. They rock with who they rock with and they don't with who they don't.
And then came another slick comparison. Katt asked why someone like Gary Owen, who's been doing stand-up for over 2 decades and is literally white, hasn't had the same crossover success. His point? Kevin got ahead by playing along with the game. Katt also let people know that he never took hush money. He said that's exactly why people act weird when he walks into a room. Behind his back, they'll talk mess, call him bitter or washed up. But when he's right in front of them, all of a sudden it's all yes sir energy. He said, I've never taken shortcuts. I've never been funded. They pay people to stay quiet, and they say it to your face. And just when you thought it couldn't get deeper, Katt dropped a bombshell. He revealed that during the filming of Friday After Next, producers tried to get him to do a scene where his character would be SA'd, all for laughs. Katt wasn't with it. He said there was nothing funny about that kind of scene, and he refused to do it. After that, he said he got blacklisted, quietly removed from every project he was lined up for. And guess who got those roles instead? Yep, Kevin. According to Katt, Kevin didn't ask any questions, didn't ask for changes, he just took the scripts and ran with them. Now for this next part, it gets deep. Katt opened up about why he was blackballed in the first place, and it had everything to do with Friday After Next. He revealed that in the original script, his character, Money Mike, was supposed to get SA'd in a bathroom. Yeah, that was the punchline. Katt said Ricky Smiley was fine with the original scene, but he wasn't. So he took a big risk and told the executive straight up, a black man getting SA'd isn't funny, period. He stood his ground and told them, let me do this without that scene, and I promise it'll be twice as funny. So for people to bring it up now like he didn't already fight that battle, Katt said that's wild. As for Kevin, he didn't name drop Katt directly, but he definitely threw shade. During a Knicks vs. Sixers game, he started cracking random jokes about Katt buying the Knicks, returning them with a receipt, and then giving them a ride in a spaceship. He even claimed Katt had an NBA court in his living room. It was corny, but clearly aimed right at him. It was all goofy on the surface, but the shade was loud. Kevin was trying to act unbothered, but Katt wasn't buying it. According to him, Kevin was very much bothered, and even working behind the scenes to ruin Shannon Sharpe. And if you've been keeping up, that actually checks out. Because a while back, Shannon admitted that someone had been trying to get his show canceled. And this happened right after Katt appeared on his show and started calling people out. Back then it seemed random, but now people are starting to connect the dots, and Kevin's name is coming up a lot.
Kevin Hart done went 25 years without ever being in the same building with me at the same time. If I go in the building, he walk out. You've never seen us in the same building ever in 25 years. Like, it's like that. Why?
Shannon told a story about it too. He said his mom always told him, there is power in the tongue. And right after Katt's episode aired, someone close to him warned, they're gonna come for you. At first, Shannon brushed it off. He hadn't said anything controversial, so he didn't think it would be a problem. But his friend insisted the fallout was coming, and people he thought he could work with, they were going to back away. And just like that, the call stopped. He said the people that were excited to meet him, to collaborate with him, then suddenly, they ghosted him. No follow-ups, no explanations, just silence. And the drama doesn't stop there. Word on the street, Kevin might also be connected to that current SA lawsuit against Shannon. Yep, the one filed by Gabriella Zuniga. Turns out Gabriella might not be some random woman. According to Jaguar Wright, she's allegedly related to a well-known Hollywood family. Jaguar didn't name names directly, but she hinted hard. She said Gabriella's last name, Zuniga, is super unique, and she's been digging to confirm if Gabriella's tied to Daphne Zuniga, the 90s actress from Melrose Place. Jaguar claimed Daphne has some very interesting behind-the-scenes Hollywood connections. So if Gabriella really is part of that family, that's some high-level plotting.
How does nobody see what they're trying to do? Because this is pure distraction. Pure.
From what?
And why is nobody looking at the lineup? Oh, I'm fixing to work today. Y'all gonna watch me work today. I love it when God takes these moments to just let me run amok. An almost 60-year-old man shouldn't even find a woman under the age of 30 attractive. A man pushing 60, all of that wisdom, all of that knowledge. The only way you want something young and dumb is if you want something young and dumb. Because you don't want to.
Now here's where it all ties together. Apparently, Kevin and some Hollywood executives have allegedly been working behind the scenes for years trying to take Shannon down. And using a young woman like Gabriella, that was the easiest way in. Let's not forget, Shannon practically exposed his own weakness in past interviews. He made it clear that he had a thing for younger women, especially barely legal white girls. In one conversation, he mentioned seeing a comment about how older men date women young enough to be their daughters. His response? He flipped it back on the women, saying, I don't know why y'all be in everybody's business. Then he tried to justify it with a little comedy, saying if Stella could get her groove back, then why couldn't Shay? He joked about how folks were clapping in theaters for Stella, cheering her on. But now that he's trying to get his groove back, it's suddenly a problem. Nobody's out here saying Shannon's innocent. Let's be honest. He wouldn't be in this mess if he hadn't let his freaky tail get caught up chasing Instagram girls. If he had just listened to Monique and found himself a grown woman with a little soul food and some sense, this whole takedown wouldn't have been so easy. The streets are on fire and the tea is boiling because Katt Williams just lit up Hollywood like it's open mic night in hell. From calling Kevin Hart a sellout to exposing an alleged setup to cancel Shannon Sharpe, this saga has everything. Sabotage, secret industry ties, dress-wearing drama, and even a shady skit about the Knicks. And it gets wilder with every sip.
I didn't know that it was going to go viral. A lot of these clips that go viral. I remember when I did Cam, I remember getting up and I turned back and I look at my Katt, and I look at my producer and he's shaking his head. I'm like, oh man, we done messed up. So I'm like, what did I say?
Yeah.
Did I say something? Did he? He like, this is gonna be the talk of 24.
No way.
I'm like, you think so? He's like, Shannon. And he's looking at me just like I'm looking at you, Cam. He's like, Shannon, this is gonna be viral for the whole year. I said, come on, man. I say,
So buckle up, because what started as a comedy beef just turned into a full-blown expose on fame, fakery, and Hollywood puppeteering. You are not ready for this mess. If you love this breakdown, smash that like button, drop your hot take in the comments, and hit subscribe for more brutally honest deep dives into the drama behind the screen.